This is the most complex mATX build I've done, not because it's difficult, but because the MasterFrame 400 from Cooler Master provides nearly endless configuration options. Over 24 hours of trial and error just chasing the cleanest layout. But the payoff is this: a dense, nearly blacked out build that's ready for basically anything. Plenty of space to go absolutely wild. But today we're keeping it relatively simple. Starting with the AMD Ryzen 9 9950X 3D, the Swiss Army knife of CPUs. 16 cores for productivity and that dedicated 3D VCAS CCD for optimum gaming performance, making it the true balls-to-the-wall CPU for this build. Because the MasterFrame 400 supports both ITX and mATX motherboards, we decided to max it out with the MSI Pro BA50M P motherboard. A simple, elegant, and silver black motherboard with minimal logos and distractions. Offering competitive AM5 B series features, dual M.2 SSDs, Wi-Fi 7 and 5GB LAN. Next, a 64GB kit from G.Skill, the Ripjaws S5. At just 32mm tall, it's perfect for our air cooler of choice later. The funny thing is, when I first bought this kit back in 2025, it was 285 Canadian dollars. Now it's pushing $1,500. That's over 5 times the price from early 2025, which is completely insane. I do plan to extend the life and appeal of my memory kits by swapping out the stock heatsink for an aftermarket heatsink from AlphaCool, but I'll save that for a future video. For storage, I threw in a 1TB Samsung 990 Pro. It's Gen 4 and not Gen 5, simply because we're not running active M.2 cooling. Just a basic aluminum heatsink with a quick release latch. Probably the fastest SSD install I've ever done. Before dropping the board into the case, we pre-install the mounting hardware for our CPU cooler of choice, the Noctua D15 G2 Chromax. Noctua's flagship air cooler with more than enough cooling headroom for our 9950X 3D, using the AM5 offset bracket for better thermals. Out of the box, the MasterFrame 400 ships in a traditional layout with the motherboard upright, but this case can be ran vertically or fully inverted, which is what we're doing today. All it takes is relocating the case feet and flipping the front I/O assembly. That flexibility is really the highlight of this case thanks to its exoskeletal rail system. Up front, you get solid connectivity, an LED power button, 2 USB Type-A ports, 1 USB Type-C port, and a 3.5mm headphone jack. All panels are held in by strong magnets, all vented except the tempered glass side panel. We drop in our assembled MSI motherboard. The MasterFrame line does support back connect motherboards, but this was the cleanest black focus mATX board I could find. Next, we see the D15 G2 Chromax cooler. It's a great idea to install the CPU cooler before the GPU because trying to clamp on the fans after could be challenging. That low profile memory kit really helped out here, helping keep the fans flush against the heat stack. The MasterFrame 400 supports power supplies up to a full ATX, including Cooler Master's massive Silent X 1300W units. But for simplicity, we're going with SFXL using the ASUS low-key 750W platinum power supply. The case uses a universal PSU bracket, and I was even able to unofficially mount the PSU sidewards for cleaner cable routing. Before the GPU, let's install the case fans. We're running 7 Noctua 140mm G2 Chromax fans across the top, bottom, and front, plus a 120mm Chromax fan at the rear. The airflow setup is bottom intake, top exhaust. Officially, the MasterFrame 400 supports 2 140mm fans on the top and bottom, but you can push it to 3 per side if you're willing to overlook a couple of screw holes on that last fan. It makes the build look more proportional and it matches out the case's airflow. I also have a custom set of cables from my DIY, which is the premium silver wire cables, which looks absolutely fantastic in this build. I did have to go with longer cables, so 400mm on the GPU, 300mm on the CPU, and 300mm on the 24-pin. I'm using a fan hub for the top and bottom fans, linking the CPU with the rear exhaust, and tying the front exhaust fan to the GPU temperature using fan control. Now for the GPU, the ASUS RTX 5080 ASTRAL, easily one of the most braggadocious cards on the market. It boosts higher than my 5080 FE and uses a 4-fan cooling design. At 360mm long and 4 slots thick, it's the largest card I've ever held. Thankfully, you don't need to run these fans aggressively. GPU temperatures are excellent, and even better if you switch to the reference layout. At this point, the build is complete. Everything is powered, tuned, and dialed in, so it's time to step back and see how this configuration actually performs. If you spend hours editing videos or gaming, then you know how important a comfortable chair is. For someone like me who needs extra seat depth and strong lumbar support, it's tough to find a chair that stays comfortable through long editing and creative sessions. This is the Flexispot C7M, an ergonomic office chair built for real support. It's rated for up to 300 pounds, features a deep seat with adjustable depth, and a dynamic backrest that moves with your posture. It also includes an adjustable headrest, letting you fine-tune your neck and head support whether you're sitting upright or reclined. The armrest adjusts in every direction, height, depth, angle, and width, so you can dial in your perfect position. And when it's time for a break, the integrated fold-out leg rest lets you lean back and relax. I've been using both the black and gray versions, one with the foldable leg rest and the other without. You can get the C7M in mesh or foam, and they're both extremely comfortable. I've been using the C7 daily, and it's made a huge difference in reducing back and hip strain during long builds and editing sessions. If you're looking to level up your workspace, check out the Flexispot C7 link in the description. With that out of the way, let's get into the numbers. And there you have it, the MasterFrame 400 mesh build. Performance, noise, and thermals all under control, but it's not perfect. Overall, the build quality is solid. Some of the included screws do strip a bit too easily, especially if you're experimenting with a lot of different configurations. I also wish Cooler Master leaned even harder into customizations. The exoskeleton is flexible, but much of the frame is riveted together, which limits how far you can actually go without permanent modifications. And while the tempered glass panel looks great, I would have loved to see vented or mesh alternatives in the box, especially for an airflow focused build. That said, if flexibility is what you're looking for, this is still one of the most adaptable platform Cooler Master offers right now. This is by far better than the MasterFrame 500 mesh, which I reviewed a couple months ago, which is much easier to build in and much more intuitive, in my opinion. I really don't have many bad things to say about this case. It really does inspire me to come up with some pretty amazing builds in the future, maybe a vertical build or an all liquid cool build. We'll see. This wasn't a full breakdown of the MasterFrame 400, and there are channels that do a better job like Gear Seekers, but I just wanted to cover and show you what you can actually do in this case that's different from the other videos that are on YouTube, which is an inverted build. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you find what I do here interesting. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.